200,000 miles. That is the number that separates the trucks people brag about from the trucks people quietly trade in before the warranty conversation gets uncomfortable. And for the last several years, the single most debated question among F-150 owners has not been about towing capacity or payload or fuel economy. It has been about which engine actually gets you to that number without destroying your bank account along the way. The 2.7 EcoBoost, the 3.5 EcoBoost, the 5.0 Coyote. Ford gave you three fundamentally different philosophies when you walked into that dealership, and every one of them came with a champion in the online forums who would tell you the other two were a mistake. The problem is that most of those opinions were formed before the 200,000-mile mark. We wanted to know what happens after it. So we went through real-world data, owner reports, independent shop records, documented failure patterns, and long-term cost tracking from trucks that have actually lived this mileage, and we are going to tell you what we found. Not which engine sounds best on paper, which one actually wins when the odometer stops being a number you are proud of and starts being a number your mechanic is nervous about. Stay with us, because the answer is not what most people expect. Test 1. The 2.7 EcoBoost at 200,000 miles. Picture the owner who bought the 2.7 EcoBoost because the fuel economy numbers looked good, the price point was right, and every review said the smaller turbo engine punched well above its displacement. For the first 100,000 miles, that owner felt vindicated. The 2.7 was quick off the line, returned respectable mileage for a full-size truck, and aside from routine maintenance, asked for very little. Then the second 100,000 miles arrived, and the story started to get more complicated. The 2.7 EcoBoost that launched with the 2015 F-150 generation carried a problem that Ford did not fully resolve until the engine was substantially revised for the 2018 model year: carbon buildup on the intake valves. Because the 2.7 uses port and direct injection combined in later versions, but relied solely on direct injection in early configurations, fuel vapors were not washing the intake valves clean the way port injection engines do. Over time, carbon deposits accumulated, and by the time trucks hit the 150,000 to 200,000 mile range, owners were dealing with rough idle, reduced power, and in some cases misfires that required walnut blasting or full intake cleaning procedures to correct. On early 2.7 engines, that service runs between $300 and $600 at most independent shops. Not catastrophic, but not invisible either. The second issue that surfaces on high-mileage 2.7 EcoBoost trucks is turbocharger wear. The 2.7 runs twin turbos, working at relatively high boost pressure for the displacement, and by 200,000 miles, the bearing surfaces in older units show measurable wear. Turbo replacement on a 2.7 is not a cheap afternoon. Parts and labor combined can land between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on whether you are replacing one unit or both. The owners who make it to 200,000 on the 2.7 without a major turbo event are typically the ones who change their oil on an aggressive schedule, use the correct full synthetic specification, and let the engine warm up properly rather than immediately loading it on cold starts. Maintenance discipline determines the 2.7's long-term outcome more than any other single variable. Test 2. The 3.5 EcoBoost at 200,000 miles. The 3.5 EcoBoost owner bought confidence. This is the engine Ford put in the F-150 Raptor, the engine that tows 30% heavier than the 2.7, the engine that earned a reputation in commercial fleets for chewing through high mileage with a consistency that made fleet managers comfortable. By the time you are looking at 200,000-mile examples of the 3.5 EcoBoost, you are looking at a population of trucks that has been used hard. Trailers attached, payloads loaded, summers in Arizona and winters in Minnesota, and what you find tells you something important. The 3.5 EcoBoost is not immune to carbon buildup, but the issue manifests differently than on the 2.7. The larger displacement and higher thermal mass mean the engine runs at a temperature range that partially mitigates the deposit accumulation rate, particularly on post-2017 units with port and direct injection working together. Owners of second-generation 3.5 EcoBoost trucks, 2017 and forward, report meaningfully fewer carbon-related complaints at the 200,000-mile mark than owners of first-generation examples. If you are evaluating a high-mileage 3.5 EcoBoost and you do not know which generation it is, the 2017 model year is the dividing line. The 3.5's significant long-term vulnerability is the cam phaser system. At high mileage, particularly on trucks that spent their lives towing near capacity on short trips without extended highway driving to fully heat cycle the oil, the variable cam timing components begin to wear in ways that produce a distinctive ticking or rattling sound on cold start. Cam phaser replacement on a 3.5 EcoBoost is a serious job. Labor alone frequently exceeds $2,000 at a dealership, and the full repair with parts can approach $3,500 to $4,000 on a truck with additional ancillary wear. The owners who avoid this outcome are the ones who changed their oil before the manufacturer's maximum interval, used a high-quality, full synthetic rated to the correct viscosity, and did not consistently run the engine hard before operating. Temperature was fully reached. The 3.5 rewards good habits and punishes neglect in a very specific and expensive way. Test 3. The 5.0 Coyote at 200,000 miles. The 5.0 Coyote owner made a different kind of decision when they checked that box on the order sheet. They were not chasing fuel economy numbers or peak towing figures. They were buying a naturally aspirated V8 with a mechanical simplicity that turbocharged engines, by definition, cannot offer. No turbochargers to fail, no intercoolers to leak, no boost pressure putting stress on seals and gaskets in the way that forced induction engines live with every mile. At the 200,000-mile mark, that philosophy shows up in the data in a way that is hard to argue with. The 5.0 Coyote's high-mileage failure pattern is the most predictable of the three engines, and predictable in this context is a compliment. The most common issue reported on Coyotes in the 150,000 to 200,000-mile range is timing chain stretch. The 5.0 uses a dual overhead cam configuration with a complex timing chain system. And on engines that ran extended oil change intervals or used oil viscosities below the specification, chain wear becomes noticeable through a rattle on cold start that disappears once oil pressure builds. A full timing chain job on a 5.0 Coyote is not inexpensive. The repair typically runs between $2,500 and $3,500 depending on market and shop, but it is a known quantity with a known fix. And trucks that have had the service done correctly continue to run reliably well beyond 200,000 miles. The other pattern that emerges on high-mileage Coyotes is oil consumption in the 150,000-mile and beyond range, particularly on first-generation engines from 2011 through 2014. Ford issued a technical service bulletin acknowledging this issue and provided updated piston rings on later production units, but earlier trucks that have covered serious mileage may show enough oil consumption to require monitoring between changes. None of this is catastrophic. It is the kind of high-mileage reality that every naturally aspirated V8 eventually encounters. But it is worth factoring into your ownership expectations if you are buying a high-mileage Coyote or planning to keep yours for the long haul. If this kind of honest, data-driven look at the F-150's drivetrain is what you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel right now. We go this deep on every Ford powertrain every week. Test 4. Reliability costs. Compared across all three. Talking about failure modes without talking about dollars is an incomplete conversation, so here is where we put actual numbers behind the 200,000-mile reliability picture. Because the engine that has the fewest dramatic failures is not necessarily the one that costs you the least to own, and the distinction matters when you are making a real purchasing or keeping decision. Across documented owner reports and independent shop data aggregated over the last several years, the 2.7 EcoBoost shows the lowest average unscheduled repair cost through the first 125,000 miles of any of the three engines. It is genuinely the most trouble-free of the three in that range. After that threshold, the cost curve steepens, and by 200,000 miles, the average out-of-pocket expenditure on unscheduled repairs, not routine maintenance, specifically unexpected repairs, on a 2.7 EcoBoost sits higher than most owners anticipated when they chose the smaller engine for its efficiency advantages. The 3.5 EcoBoost shows the widest cost variance of any of the three engines. A well-maintained 3.5 that avoided the cam phaser scenario through disciplined oil changes and conservative towing habits is one of the least expensive high-mileage trucks in this comparison. A 3.5 EcoBoost that got to 200,000 miles on extended oil change intervals and regular towing at or near capacity can carry repair costs that dwarf both of the other engines. The spread between the best case and worst case 3.5 at 200,000 miles is larger than the spread for either the 2.7 or the 5.0, which makes it simultaneously the best and worst option in this group, depending entirely on how it was treated. The 5.0 Coyote presents the most consistent cost profile of the three. The repair events are more predictable, the parts are widely available at competitive prices, and the labor intensity of most Coyote repairs, while not trivial, falls within a range that independent shops handle comfortably without specialized tooling. The timing chain job is the big-ticket item, and owners who budget for it proactively rather than waiting for symptoms to force the issue typically pay less for it than those who defer until the rattle is impossible to ignore. Test 5. Towing and work use, beyond 150,000 miles. Here is the scenario that exposes the real difference between these three engines at high mileage. Because the owner who pulls a 20-foot enclosed trailer every weekend is asking a fundamentally different question than the owner who commutes on the highway and uses the truck bed twice a year. Long-term towing duty is where the gap between these powertrains becomes most visible and most consequential. The 2.7 EcoBoost at high mileage under regular towing loads is the engine that shows the most stress in the data. The twin turbos are working at sustained boost levels that accumulate hours on the bearing surfaces. The intercooler connections are subject to the thermal cycling of repeated tow and cool sequences, and the smaller displacement means the engine is consistently operating closer to its load ceiling than either of the other two options when pulling real weight. Owners who tow regularly and have crossed the 150,000-mile mark on a 2.7 EcoBoost report a higher incidence of boost-related issues, intercooler pipe cracks, boost leak symptoms, and oil consumption increases than owners who use the truck primarily without a trailer. The 3.5 EcoBoost under long-term towing duty tells a different story. This is the engine Ford built to tow, and the larger displacement means it is doing the same work at a lower percentage of its capacity ceiling than the 2.7. High-mileage 3.5 EcoBoost trucks that spent their lives as tow vehicles and received proper maintenance consistently outperform the 2.7 under equivalent towing use histories. The cam phaser vulnerability does not increase with towing. It increases with oil neglect, so the 3.5 remains a legitimate choice for high-mileage towing duty provided the maintenance regimen is non-negotiable. The 5.0 Coyote under sustained towing loads at high mileage occupies a specific niche. The naturally aspirated configuration means there is no turbo system to fatigue, but the engine also does not carry the peak torque advantage of the 3.5 EcoBoost at towing speeds. Owners who tow regularly and chose the 5.0 for reliability reasons are making a sound long-term bet. The engine handles sustained load well, and the failure modes under towing duty are not dramatically different from its non-towing profile. But they are doing so while leaving some towing capability and fuel efficiency on the table relative to the 3.5 EcoBoost in the same role. Test 6. Parts availability and repairability at high mileage. There is a practical dimension to the 200,000-mile conversation that does not show up in forum threads about cam phasers or turbocharger bearings, and it is the question that matters most when your truck breaks down on a Saturday afternoon 300 miles from home. Which engine can be fixed fastest, most affordably, and by the widest range of qualified shops? The 5.0 Coyote wins this category without a serious challenge. The Coyote engine family shares architecture and a significant number of parts with the Ford Mustang GT, meaning the parts supply network is enormous. The aftermarket is mature, and independent shops that work on performance vehicles have been familiar with this engine for over a decade. A shop that works on Mustangs can work on your F-150 5.0 with confidence. That is not always true of the EcoBoost lineup. The 3.5 EcoBoost has developed a solid parts and service ecosystem over its production run, and most dealerships and experienced independent shops handle 3.5 EcoBoost repairs routinely. The cam phaser job is a known procedure that well-equipped shops execute regularly, and parts availability has improved significantly as the engine has aged into the mainstream repair market. The 2.7 EcoBoost trails slightly in this category, simply because of its younger production history relative to the 3.5, and because some of the twin-turbo-specific components carry longer lead times from suppliers than single or traditional turbo setups. Neither EcoBoost is difficult to service in a well-equipped shop, but neither matches the pure repairability advantage of the naturally aspirated 5.0 in a parts and logistics scenario. The bottom line: after 200,000 miles, the data points in a direction that will surprise some people and confirm what others have quietly suspected for years. There is a clear winner in this comparison, but the answer requires one honest caveat before it lands. The 5.0 Coyote is the most durable, most predictable, and most consistently reliable of the three engines at 200,000 miles and beyond. Specifically for the owner who maintains it properly, does not prioritize maximum fuel efficiency, and values repairability and parts availability over peak towing numbers. The failure modes are known, the repair costs are manageable, and the engine's naturally aspirated design eliminates the turbocharger fatigue variables that define the long-term risk profile of both EcoBoost options. If longevity is the primary metric, the Coyote wins. The 3.5 EcoBoost is the correct choice for owners who tow regularly and are genuinely committed to an aggressive oil change schedule using the correct full synthetic specification. In those hands, the 3.5 is capable of matching or approaching the Coyote's long-term reliability while delivering materially better towing performance and reasonable fuel economy. In the hands of an owner who stretches oil change intervals or consistently tows at capacity on short trips, the 3.5 becomes the most expensive engine in this group to keep alive past 200,000 miles. The 2.7 EcoBoost is the right engine for the owner who drove carefully through the first 100,000 miles, maintained it on a disciplined schedule, and values the fuel economy benefit enough to accept a higher long-term repair probability on the back half of the engine's life. It is not a bad engine, it is a precise engine, and precision requires corresponding maintenance discipline to deliver at extreme mileage. If you are buying a used F-150 today and you want the best odds of crossing 200,000 miles without a major financial event, find a well-documented 5.0 Coyote with a full service history and buy it confidently. If you already own a high-mileage EcoBoost, start your oil change interval now, whatever the odometer says, and treat every future interval as non-negotiable. That decision, more than the engine choice itself, is what determines where your truck ends up at 200,000 miles.